Today, we consider a report recommending that the House of Representatives hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt of Congress.
I think it's disgraceful. Last week, when the Attorney General refused to show up for this committee's kangaroo court, the majority set up an empty chair, ate chicken, and pretty much made a mockery of this committee. It's worth noting that Attorney General did appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee the day before he was scheduled to come here, where the unreasonable demand that he be queried by staff attorneys was not made. Senators did the questioning themselves, as is normal, and the same should have been the case here instead of Chickengate.
He had all of the elements to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they conspired together. There's a big difference between not having connections and having guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Then Mr. Trump gets on the telephone with Mr. Putin and has a 90-minute conversation or something like that, where he can see on a phone call that he smiled at him.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized. What purpose does the gentlelady from Texas seek recognition?
Strike the last word. Strike the last word.
Strike the last word.
Strike the last word.
I move to strike the last word.
Move to strike the last word.
I move to strike the last word.
The gentleman from Florida. What purpose does the gentleman from Florida recognize? Move to seek recognition.
Move to strike the last word, Mr. Chairman.
Strike the last word.
Strike the last word.
Strike the last word.
Strike the last word. Move to strike the last word. I move to strike the last word.
Move to strike the last word.
I move to strike the last word.
Move to strike the last word.
Move to strike the last word.
Say the last word.
Strike the last word.
Move to strike the last word.
Strike the last word.
When I was courting my wife and trying to get her to agree to marry me, and I just wouldn't let her leave until she committed. And I just kept talking and bringing up 6E and 6G and everything that I could. And so finally, 39 years ago, she agreed to marry me. So I won. But we can't let the Republicans win today trying to sweet talk us and trying to sweet talk the American people.
The answer is very simple. We voted unanimously to release the report within the bounds of the law. That's what the Attorney General's doing, and that's what apparently you keep missing. I don't understand why that's so difficult.
The sweet talk is obscuring the real issue, and we need to stop the sweet talk. We have lawful responsibilities, constitutional responsibilities to engage in, one of which is possibly impeachment. How can we impeach without getting the documents?
Question. How can we impeach if we don't get the documents? How can we impeach if we don't get the documents? Ladies and gentlemen, this hearing is not about the Attorney General. It's not about the Mueller report, 92% of which everyone in America has had the opportunity to read. It's not about the fact that even the portions that the American people haven't been able to read, the chairman's been able to go read had he chosen. This is all about impeaching the president.
Some people know that you can't hold someone in contempt. You can vote to do that, but you can't be in contempt for failing to produce things that are illegal for you to produce.
Nobody's asking the Attorney General to disobey the law. We're asking the Attorney General to obey the law and produce the Mueller report and the supporting documentation, the underlying evidence that we've been requesting for a couple months now.
He offered to let the chairman and 5 other Democrat leaders review the less redacted report at the Department of Justice, including a 99.9% unredacted volume on obstruction. In an odd move for anyone demanding access to information, the chairman and the other elected Democrats given access have declined to view that report.
The subpoena, as it stands today, requires the Attorney General to break the law to be fully compliant. If you look at it on its face, that's beyond dispute. I know that, and you know that, and yet you are nonetheless rushing to hold him in contempt.
It's designed to be the foundation of a dialogue and is not designed to force our hand in what we insist on in court.
Mr. Chairman, the beginning of a dialogue, let me yield to Mr. Buck, if I may.
Mr. Chairman, I've issued many subpoenas or requested the court to issue many subpoenas on behalf of prosecutors' offices that I've worked in. I've never considered it the beginning of a dialogue. I've considered it a command by the court to produce documents.
You've terminated our ongoing negotiations and abandoned the accommodation process. That's a dialogue. Why did you do this, and why are we here if this is part of the dialogue?
We didn't terminate. They did by refusing to make any offer in good faith. The gentlelady from Florida is recognized.
I think it's all about trying to destroy Bill Barr because Democrats are nervous he's going to get to the bottom of everything. 2017, Senator Schumer on the Rachel Maddow show talking about then President-elect Trump says this: if you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. Now, I don't know if the FBI went after President Trump in 6 ways, but I sure know they went after him in 2 ways. And the first one is the now famous dossier. On October 21st, 2016, the FBI used one party's opposition research document as the basis to go to a secret court to get a warrant to spy on the other party's campaign. That happened. Democrat National Committee, the Clinton campaign, paid Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Fusion GPS, who then hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who did what? Talked to Russians and put together this.
In contempt for refusal to comply with a subpoena duly issued by the Committee on the Judiciary as amended favorably to the House. Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
No.
And the ayes have it.
Roll call,
Committee
Mr.
report.
Chairman.
The roll call is requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Nadler?
Aye.
Mr. Nadler votes aye. Ms. Lofgren? Ms. Jackson-Lee? Ms. Jackson-Lee votes aye. Mr. Chairman, there are 24 ayes and 16 noes.
The ayes have it, and the committee report as amended is ordered reported favorably to the House.